but I want to sincerely apologize for starting the webinar a little bit behind schedule. We may still have to wait for about 10 more minutes to get everyone together, and especially those that will be playing one role or the other. In another 10 minutes, we will get the webinar started. And once again, on behalf of the President of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mrs. Tokima Bogunje, I would like to welcome everyone to this webinar. Please bear with us. We will begin in about 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Good morning once again, dear participants. This is letting you know that the event will commence in about 5 minutes. we are trying to ensure that we have full participation from our registered participants. So please, we crave your indulgence to please bear with us. In 5 minutes, we will kickstart the event and then we move on with the proceedings of today's event. Once again, we apologize for the late kickoff. We hope you have a nice time today during the discussion. We have our panelists already, and we have our moderator and the president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in the person of Mrs. Tokima Bogunje, is also here with us. So once again, you're welcome. In 5 minutes, we'll kickstart. Thank you very much for your understanding. And Training Unit of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the advocacy voice of the organized private sector in Nigeria. The theme for this webinar is business collaboration, an innovative way to success. It is intended for the purpose of ensuring profitability, continuity, and sustainability in the businesses of our esteemed members. I'm Shegun Alabi, Head of Corporate Communications, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and your anchor for today's event. First, I would like to introduce and warmly welcome the chief host of today's event and president of LCCI, Mrs. Toki Mabogunje, the 23rd president and the third female president of the chamber. Madam President, you are welcome.
Thank you, Shegun. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. You're welcome to this program.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Also, we have the co-host of today's event, chairperson of LCCI Best Board, Mrs. Yemisi Daramola, FCA. Good to have you, madam. Next, I would like to welcome the moderator for today's event in the person of Dr. Obiora Madu, Managing Director, Multimix Academy Limited. Dr. Madu, good to have you, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, sir. I would also like to welcome our panelists in no particular order, Mr. Olusoji Oyawoye, Managing Director, Resource Intermediates Limited. Good to have you, Mr. Oyawoye.
Thank you, Mr. Toki, for the privilege to be on this platform. I look forward to an interesting session and mutual learning for me and the participants.
Thank you very much, sir. We would like to recognize also all LCCI honorary live vice presidents here present, all LCCI members here present. Please permit me to invite the chief host of today's event and president of LCCI in the person of Mrs. Toki Mabogunje to please give the opening remarks. Madam President, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Shegun. Mrs. Bamidele Daramola, FCA, Chairperson, Business Education Services and Training Unit, known as BEST, officers and council members of the LCCI here present, members of the board of BEST here present, the Director General of the LCCI, Dr. Muda Yusuf, our distinguished speakers, Mr. Olusoji Oyawoye, the Managing Director of Resource Intermediaries Limited, Mr. Femi Mosaku Johnson, Registrar CEO of the Association of Corporate Governance Professionals of Nigeria, and our very valued, who is one of our esteemed members, Dr. Obiora Madu, Managing Director of Multimix Academy Limited. Business owners, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to this webinar, which is one of the deliverables from the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry to support and provide businesses with relevant information and solutions critical to their sustainability in the light of the current. The theme of is business collaboration, an innovative way to success. It's the second in the series of our online events and training, which is to be delivered by the Business Education and Training Unit, known as BEST, of the Chamber, as part of the support given to our members and the business community at large. The Lagos focusing on the repositioning is paramount in these uncertain times. The value of business collaboration is often not well appreciated by many entrepreneurs. Yet plays a vital role in the sustainability of any business. It is a practice that leaders and entrepreneurs should embrace if they wish to see their businesses thrive in the long term. It has been proven that collaboration creates the best creative solutions to complex tasks. There are many challenges in business that demand multiple competencies and synergies to tackle or resolve. The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted the business model of many companies. Now more than ever before, collaboration is critical. Innovation is more necessary to anticipate changes and to increase resilience. The reduction of physical and social connections creates the opportunity to strengthen our relationships. By acting through collaborative efforts, businesses can approach all areas of this complex crisis more swiftly and more efficiently, adapting their business to each phase of the pandemic's evolution. Let me express my profound appreciation to our resource persons who really have distinguished themselves in their various fields of endeavor. We appreciate you for honoring us with your presence and for being prepared to share your perspectives on this theme for our deliberations today. I appreciate all our distinguished participants and guests, captains of industry, officers and council members of the Chamber for making time to be part of this program. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me congratulate the chairperson of the BEST board, Mrs. Bamidele Daramola FCA, and other members of the board, as well as the secretariat, for their efforts in ensuring the successful hosting of this program. Thank you so much for being here, and I wish us all an inspiring session. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Madam President, for that well-articulated speech. It's now time to move to the next program of this event, which is the panel discussion. And to coordinate this session is our moderator, no other than our own well-respected Dr. Obiora Madu. Over to you, sir, for the next proceeding.
Good morning, my president.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my chair of the board of BEST. Good morning, Soji, Dr. Alabi, and the rest of the panelists. I'd like to welcome participants, and I can assure you that with the kind of caliber of resource persons we have, you will have a great time. Right now, the president has said a lot about collaboration. In supply chain, we actually say it's either you collaborate or you die, because you don't have a choice, really. And the pandemic has worsened the situation. So we will take the two presenters, and then we will get into the discussion section, question and answers, and then, of course, comments and issues, challenges that you have encountered in collaboration and the rest of them. You raise them. I'm sure that from the house here, we will be able to find solution to them. So welcome all as I call on the first presenter, Mr. Soji Oyawoye, the MD of Resource Intermediaries Limited, a company that has done so much in the area of capacity building, in the area of outsourcing, and Soji has walked through several components of the industry and understands what collaboration is all about. So, Mr. Oyawoye, you are welcome. You can go ahead with your presentation now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Obiora Madu. I'd like to stand on all existing protocols, and just to manage time, I'm allocated just about 20 minutes for this. And if you leave me, I will speak for 20 hours. I get a high when I get this kind of sessions. So I just share my screen and go straight to the session. And I believe there'll be time for the Q&A after this. Again, I represent Resource Intermediaries, where I'm part owner and MD CEO in the last 14 years. Before that, I'd worked in the banking industry for 19 years. So I have about 34 years experience and practical demonstration in some of these where we've collaborated on several fronts. So what is collaboration? What is collaboration itself? Just so that we're all on the same page. Simply, collaboration is the action of working with someone to produce something. That's just a nutshell, a definition. Working with someone to produce something. Business collaboration, however, is a partnership between two commercial enterprises. So it goes a little bit deeper because we're talking about business collaboration. It is a partnership between two commercial enterprises and is usually formalized by one or more contracts. So there will need to be a contract to formalize a business collaboration. Now, it falls a little short of a legal partnership. So it is not a partnership itself, though it has some similarities. So business collaboration is a strategic partnership, not a legal partnership. It's a strategic partnership. Now, as we proceed, I believe you get a bit more clarity as I go over some of the clear distinctions. So how do you spend your time? See, how we spend our time matters. I saw this little clip online yesterday, and it just goes to the point of how we spend our time. Because collaboration helps us to maximize the use of our time, which is a failure of most executives and most business leaders, where we spend so much time busy doing what is not adding much value to the organization. So just look at this short clip, for example. I'm sure you get the message. Here's somebody, just watch it again, who basically is spending a lot of time and who was being exposed to an alternative and still didn't get it. Most of us are like that. We spend 80% of our time doing what delivers just 20% results to the organization we work for. Whereas the appropriate thing to do is to spend 20% of your time on what will deliver 80% results. I once worked with an organization where the MD, part of the report the MD calls to receive on his table every week was how many cubes of sugar were being served staff for tea on a weekly basis. Now that's a complete waste of executive man hours. And a lot of businesses also are engaged in matters that really they could have achieved a lot more if they had collaborated on. Why do you need to collaborate in the first place? Why collaborate? You collaborate because one or both partners have a business asset or expertise that will enhance their business. This is the key reason for collaboration, because either you or the people you want to partner with, they have a business asset or some expertise that will enhance both businesses and yours in particular. One of the biggest mistakes business owners make is trying to do everything alone, especially in these climes in Nigeria and I dare say most of Africa, right? There's that ownership mentality, it's mine, we own it and all of that. And it's just a big mess and unnecessary if you want to grow your business and sustain it into it, become a legacy business. It's a big mistake. Creativity has long been thought to be an individual gift, best pursued alone. And that's what we learn in schools. And that's why in reality, most schools actually just teach us to get jobs and be busy doing nothing. The real education for most people that will tell you and that have achieved anything of substance or greatness has come from what they learn outside school, not in the certifications, right? So that's what schools teach us, that creativity is an individual gift. That's why you look for who was first, who is number one, who is first, second, third, fourth, and all of that, who had 100%, and all of that's what basically is measured. This reasoning is a myth. Creativity is not an individual gift. Creativity is always collaborative, even when you are alone. Look at orchestras. You see a large number of people playing several instruments. Just one wrong key by one of them throws the whole orchestra into disharmony. Look at football teams. No matter how great or significant an individual player is, if he does not collaborate, that team would not win the match. So it is in life. So creativity, it's not an individual gift. It's a myth. It's a collaborative effort. It's a collaborative effort. And examples of collaboration basically is looking at complementary businesses, where you could refer clients between one another. And then both partners will increase revenues with no additional advertising costs or even costs. And I'll give one or two examples. Part of the businesses that I'm associated with is called the Bunker. It's a co-work space, meeting rooms and all of that. We have one in Lekki, another in Yaba, and one in Abuja. And we'll be opening in Ibadan pretty soon, and hopefully close to you very soon as well. Now, late last year, I approached some young man who is a PR specialist and into advertising, who basically uses our facilities and pays as a subscriber. And he pays 250,000 naira per year. And I said, young man, what if we collaborate? I need what you have, basically, which is to help advertise the Bunker facilities and help us do our public relations out there to make the brand more known and get in customers. I also have what you need. You need an office space, which you are paying me 250,000 naira per annum for, as it is. So you can use my co-work space free. You don't need to pay 250,000, but you also give me PR and advertisement without me paying for it. In actual sense, what I was asking for would have cost me almost 500,000. So, but for him, he would rather let go of that amount and have the free use. Other incremental benefits to him was, as he uses the co-work space, he's getting access to other entrepreneurs who also use the facility. So he's able to sell more and network more. That is an example of complementary businesses looking for how to collaborate. And look at this classic example. Now, if you don't know what this picture says, then you've never lived in Lagos or some parts of the South. Right. And that's a picture of someone on the left with a pot of, yes, ewa going. That's beans. With a bread seller. This is collaboration in its raw form. If either of them is marketing separately, they're not going to sell as much as working together like this. Because in reality, as you are buying the ewa going, you'll be buying bread. And if it's bread you want to buy, you are very likely going to buy ewa going. So these two would have sold all their wares by midday, as against selling separately, because each has something that the other has. Note that they're not paying each other anything, even in this instance. So collaboration sometimes would not cost you money, but it saves you money, grows your sales, and gives you speed to market. And of course, we're familiar with GTB Bank, I believe, and this is arrangement in promoting the fashion industry. That is a collaboration. There is no way all of those that go to those fashion weekend shows, including customers, almost all the sales that is done is routed through GTB Bank. So by collaboration, GTB is providing a platform riding on their own wide reach for small startups and small entrepreneurs who also will sell more by collaboration. That's an example again of complementary businesses. For time, there's a series of other examples. So the next question is collaboration for you? Is collaboration for you? And I'll give you some guides to enable you answer that question right. So before starting to collaborate, you need to ask yourself these questions. What really are your goals as an organization? What do your customers need? 2, can you achieve your objectives alone? Because it's possible you can. But you need to answer these questions. 3, would collaboration help you compensate for your weaknesses and enhance your strengths? How will it achieve this? So you need to be able to answer these questions clearly to determine if collaboration is for you as a business. Then what happens if you do nothing and you just maintain your current course? Go it alone. Many businesses have lost their market share and even died with this mindset of going it alone and just looking at competition rather than collaboration. So it's collaboration for you. If you go through these questions, it will help you answer that question right. Now, if collaboration is also necessary, there are other questions you need to ask before you go into execution. One, what is my value as a partner in the collaboration? Because you need to be clear, what value do I bring into the collaboration relative to what I'm expecting the partner to bring? What do I bring to the table? What do I expect of my partner? What is on my wish list? What would I like to achieve with this collaboration? So it needs to be clear. That's when you'll be able to measure the value for the collaboration for both of you. Because if both parties are not getting some value out of it, it won't last. One will feel cheated. Now, there are barriers to collaboration, which is why many don't go into it. One is complacency, where sometimes we're willing to reach out to others or to consider offers even when it's thrown at us. Like that young man that I made that offer to for the bunker could have rejected the offer and said, no, let me just pay you your $250,000. If you want my services for my PR, you have to pay me separately. Right. So sometimes complacency, especially when our businesses appear to be doing well. But go and study Nokia, go and study Sony, go and study all those businesses who seem to be doing very well and just were complacent rather than collaborate. Lack of trust is another barrier why people don't collaborate. They have anxiety about working with people they don't know. The reality is that some collaborations that I'm involved with are with counterparties that are not in Nigeria. I have never met them physically. From start to engagement of the process, everything was done online. But we ensure that legal documents that provide and protect all parties. So you just have to allow yourself to take that plunge in collaboration. And sometimes fear of being exploited also leads to lack of trust. In realities, it's almost impossible that one party may not get the better of the other. But the key thing is you need to ask yourself, is my business enhanced? Do I have speed to market? Am I running more efficiently? Once you are, it really doesn't matter. So collaboration does not have to be a 50-50 benefit share of the spoils, more or less. It doesn't have to be. Lack of integrity is another barrier. You know, reputation is the new currency in the new age. You can lose money and it can easily be regained, but reputation, if lost, is very, very difficult to build back. So these are barriers, right? So integrity is key of both you and the counterparty. So for me, beyond the business evaluation in going to collaboration, look at the values and the culture of the counterparty you want to collaborate with. They need to be in sync with your own values and your culture as an organization. Otherwise, that misfit would create a problem down the line. Let me give you some practical guide on how to explore and go into collaboration. There's no time. I've used up 13 minutes of my 20 already. So you can do this on your own. But just pick a sheet of paper like this. A sheet of paper, then fold it into 3. What you are trying to achieve is to have 3 equal columns. So just fold the paper into 3 like this. So an A4 in landscape, fold it into 3. And when you open it, you'll have 3 columns, column 1, column 2, column 3, which you should number. So you have 3 columns like this. So just number the columns, column 1, column 2, and column 3, like I've done here, column 1, 2, 3. So do that. You can't do it because of the time constraint now, but note to do this at your own time. So you have column 1, column 2, column 3. Now, in column 1, you write down your strengths as an organization. What skills do you bring to the table as an organization? What are people always asking you to do? Those are some of the things. What are you so good at as an organization? Are you about the best for that thing in your industry or in your sector? If you are not, then you may need to collaborate. You are best off collaborating with someone who is best in that thing for you. For example, I'm into people management and HR outsourcing. Most businesses take on the staff management of non-core staff functions. It's a waste of time. You should collaborate and get someone who is more an expert in that field to deal with it while you face your own core business and functions. So you're writing your strengths in column 1. Column 2, what is the big idea? What is that new thing you want to get into? What project or goal are you working on? Write 3 or 4 steps you need to take to accomplish that big idea. That's what you're writing in column 2. What is the big idea? What are we working on or want to get into? So write 3 or 4 steps you need to take to accomplish your big idea. Write under the column 2 big idea, what has to happen for you to know that you have succeeded How would you know you have achieved your big idea? What are the checklists? What are the milestones that will let you know, yes, you have achieved this big idea? Write all of that in column 2. Then in your column 3, what is left? You already know your strengths. You know where you want to go. So what is left? List the skills and talents needed to accomplish your big idea that you don't have in-house. List them. What are the skills? What are the competencies that you don't have in-house to achieve that big idea, right? What strengths do you need on your team that is not available? That's what you're writing in column 3. After you've done this exercise, then start the discussion. Compare your strengths and your goals with what you want to achieve. Remember the barriers to collaboration in engaging who you want to collaborate with. Is there someone out there that you need on your team? Is there someone you can help also in collaborating with? That's how you collaborate in a nutshell. We can speak in more details after this session if that is required, but that will be at a fee. This is a free session. That will be consultation at a fee, by the way. Now, look at this short clip by Apple Chief Executive Tim Cook on collaboration. It would basically highlight some of what I've said. So just please listen.
What qualities do you look for in terms of what you think will produce effective collaboration, and what's your role as CEO in fostering that kind of collaboration? You look for people that are not political, people that are not bureaucrats, people that really don't care who gets credit, people that can privately celebrate the achievement, but not care if their name is the one in the lights. That there are greater reasons to do things. You look for wicked smart people. You look for people who appreciate different points of view. You look for people that care enough that they have an idea at 11 at night and they want to call and talk to you about it because they're so excited about it and they want to push the idea further, and that they believe that somebody can help them push the idea another step instead of them doing everything themselves. You know, I've never met anyone, at least in my life, maybe they exist, that could do something so incredible by themselves. You know, in companies with global footprints and in our world, in Apple's world, the reason Apple is special is that we focus on hardware, software, and services, and the magic happens where those three come together. And so it's unlikely that somebody that's focused on one of those in and of themselves can come up with magic. And so you want people collaborating in such a way that you can produce these things that can't be produced otherwise. And you want people to believe in that.
You heard it all. You heard it all. So the goal of collaboration is actually not collaboration, but better results. Every time you collaborate, the real goal is you want to achieve better results. And these are benefits of collaboration, by the way. You get lower cost, you build sustainable competitive advantage, you quicken your time to market, you increase innovation, you have improved productivity, you develop skills. Because your team learn new things by collaborating, it promotes a discovery of new things. Organization itself develops and the business grows. So these are huge, huge, huge benefits why we should explore more of collaboration. This was a collaboration by Dr. Obiora Amadu and I in Rwanda sometime last year, by the way. Now, I'm a coach, I'm a teacher, I'm a facilitator, so is he. But then he had this mandate and we worked on it together in a collaborative manner. And it went well. Rather than compete and think I will steal his client or vice versa, we collaborated and had an awful session. And we've done this together in several other instances. So also have I also engaged him and done this with a lot of people. So collaboration rather than competition is what sustains and builds legacy businesses. In conclusion, sadly, when one business organization does well, what do we normally do? Rather than collaborate, we compete. Rather than celebrate them, we ridicule them. Rather than support them, we look for how to sabotage them. There's an instinctive feeling that the only way to get up is to pull those ahead down. This is a wrong thinking we need to begin to remove from our worldview. I don't operate this way, by the way, and I know a lot of people, even on this call, who don't hold this view. And that is how it needs to be. We need to think collaboration. We need to think multiplication. Collaboration does not just happen, unfortunately. You have to work at it. You have to get up and work at it. Collaboration requires contribution. So if you are collaborating and you are not contributing, it leads to conflict. And I've engaged in some collaboration also, right, where I found out I put in everything. The other party is hesitant, not putting anything. Of course, eventually that arrangement collapses. And I'm done. I think 21 minutes, not bad for my timing today. And I can reach on those handles if you want to contact me for that. I believe the Q&A is after the second presentation. Thank you very much, LCCI, for this opportunity.
Thank you, Soji. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. That was practical. And I think the people, the attendees will go out with a lot of value. There is so much to learn. In fact, there's a new word. You can't find it in the dictionary, but you will find it on the internet. The new word is co-opetition. Co-opetition, which is actually collaborating while competing. What can be better than that? So I have practiced collaboration also, just like Soji said, for a good number of years, particularly with international partners. And it pays off because, but the fact is that the summary, Soji said, you must bring something to the table. You must bring something to the table. But if you don't bring something to the table, even if you succeed in entering into that collaboration, it's only a matter of time before the other party gets tired. So I would like to call on the question. Please write down your questions. Write down your questions so that at the end of the second presentation, we'll take questions, we'll take comments. That will also give the presenters more opportunity to explain issues that are not quite clear to people. So I think I want to use this opportunity to invite Mr. Olufemi Moshaku Johnson, Registrar CEO, Association of Corporate Governance Professionals of Nigeria, to please give us his perspective on this subject. Hello. Okay, I think right now, if you have questions, can you put it up on the chat while we sort out I think the second presenter probably joined as a participant, which is going to be difficult for him to be able to share screen and make a presentation. So if you have questions, post it so that Mr. Oyawoye will be taking it while we sort out the second presenter.
Okay, thank you, sir. I see a question. Can we have the slide for the presentation? LCCI will be the best position to answer that question.
The answer is yes, they will. The answer is yes. What's your questions for Soji?
I have also, what are the steps to identify trustworthy partners? Now, first, before you begin to look for partners, is to identify what are your own goals. What do you want to get out of this? Remember my 3-column exercise. So you need to first be clear, what exactly do you want to achieve from this collaboration? So you don't just go into collaboration blindly. What you want to achieve will be a good guide. You see, in business, your values are important. At least I'm a man of faith, so my values and the culture of the organization is important. But once that is crossed, I don't even need to like the other person. I don't need to, so all this tribal and religious and all those funny sentiments are injurious to business. The key thing is, what do I want to achieve? And does this person have a strength where I have a weakness? Right, I haven't done that. Just make sure, again, it's not a partnership, it's a strategic engagement. So there must be legal document exchange to determine the responsibilities of both parties.
Sorry. Okay, so there was a presentation which I shared with Soji yesterday. Very interesting. I think you need to find it to read. It's Nokia. The chief executive was weeping. In fact, the entire management team were weeping on the day that Microsoft acquired Nokia. And he said something. He said, we did not do anything wrong, but we lost. Collaboration may have saved this organization. Soji, you read that very particular presentation. Can you just give us your perspective on how collaboration may have saved this organization?
For the example I remember clearly that I love to cite was Kodak. You know, the way we all used to take photographs in the past was you buy film and you put the film in and take it to someone to process. Now, Kodak had the technology for digital photography, and their team kept on, the lower level team kept on recommending to management that we need to go into this new line. And the answer all the time was, no, first, if we go in that line, nobody will buy our films anymore. So really, and we're selling so much, so why spend money in something that has not emerged? And before you know it, of course, they lost that market completely. You know, but even beyond Nokia, let me just use my own business. I'm into people management, I'm into outsourcing. The reality of this lockdown is a lot of workers are now working from home. So many businesses are discovering that they may not need as many staff as they had before. The staff were my own business, so they give me staff to manage. So they're reducing the staff numbers to manage. So nobody needs to tell me that that line of business is disappearing. That's why I went into co-work spaces. That's why I went into other lines. I've started delivery services as well. So the thing is to recognize that whatever business you are in does not need to be the only line of business you stay in forever. Samsung started off selling spaghetti. Samsung that we know today. What they started was selling spaghetti. Then they became a supermarket. Then they went eventually into chips. Now Samsung is doing aeronautics and all kinds of things. They always respond to the market.
Okay, thank you very much, Soji. I think Mr. Johnson is with us now. Let me introduce to you Mr. Olufemi Mosaku Johnson, Registrar CEO, Association of Corporate Governance Professionals of Nigeria, to share his perspective on the subject matter. Mr. Femi, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all. This has been an exciting program this morning. My name is Olufemi Mosaku Johnson, as we have heard. I started my career in insurance as a business underwriter with Law Union and Rock Insurance PLC. From there, I moved to the Lagos State Public Service Staff Development Center as personnel psychology and resource fellow. I was at the Nigerian Institute of Management as a principal consultant, learning management. From there, I moved to the Institute of Directors as head of training and sincerely built the training department to crash to world class. That is what I've done before we moved to Association of Corporate Governance Professionals of Nigeria. Now we have been looking at the issue of business cooperation. Cooperation means to work together as we have been told by Mr. Oyawoye. It means working together. And we talk about 3 issues in collaboration. 1 is relationship, 2 is process, the 3rd one is the outcome. The main thing about cooperation is the outcome, is the result. What are you bringing out? But you must start with relationship. How do you bring relationship to bear? What is the process that you are going to put into it to make a very good outcome? So what we are looking at when we are talking about business cooperation is basically outcome, result. Because why? Competition. There is no more competition anywhere. What we have now is collaboration. Everybody, as a matter of urgency, as a matter of compulsion, must find a way of collaborating with other groups in order to achieve better returns. Collaboration involves 3 basic aspects, and those are the things that are very, very critical. How do you manage the relationship? Secondly, how do you manage the process? Then how do you manage the outcome? When you collaborate and you have a very good technique in place, your productivity will rise from 20 to 30%. Businesses are using advanced tools like virtual reality, artificial intelligence, bots to boost internal productivity now. So people must work together. And I want to say that today, competition is the in thing. Up to today, everywhere there is competition. People are competing as if they are playing football match. What we should be talking about now is cooperation and not competition. If we recall what Adam Smith said in The Wealth of Nations, it is not from the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the base our dinner, but from their regard to their own interest. So we should have a culture, we should understand that the other party also are working on their own interest. So how do we manage this interest? How do we bring all this together in order for us to be able to move forward, to achieve the desired goal, the desired objective? So the result is quicker when we collaborate, and the feedback is also quicker, and we can be able to finish our job on time and achieve our budget. So all these are very, very important. And we should also realize that today's workforce is more flexible than ever. The time of rigidity is past. So with businesses hiring remote freelancers to work alongside full-time staff, and part of the new normal is that people will be working from home, people will be collaborating everywhere. Things will be moving in a different direction. Last year, we had an engagement with WAEC, and I think I did say that they should prepare to see a situation where children will not sit down in their millions to be sitting for their exams. The new normal is that things might change from how we are running it. I never knew there would be pandemic, but I was saying this last year, that exam may probably have to be done online or whatever, blended ways in so many other forms, other than the ways by which we are running it. I did say it last year, and look at what we have this year. Nobody knew that this will come up. And in all this, teamwork is very essential to get things done. In today's global and digital 24/7 world, challenges are more complex. And there is no shortage of initiatives. But the main thing is that how do we bring ourselves together? How do we form these cooperatives? How do we integrate ourselves? And now you look at even organization, you discover that there is no integration. Look at government setup, Ministry of Agri and Ministry of Women Affairs. Is there any integration? So these are the things that we have to be looking at as from now. So collaboration has never been easy, but we have to find a way to do it because that is the way to go. But there are some hindrances. Like I think I heard Mr. Oyawa, you talked about the issue of trust. I looked at it and I have jotted it down as one of the problem of cooperation. the major problem is about trust. Do we trust ourselves? That is the problem. There's a crisis of trust in this country. And that is why you see, you only find organization. Let's take, for instance, a law firm. In those days, you have 3-4 people coming together to form a law firm and so on. But today, you don't have partnership in that direction anymore. If you see lawyers coming together in an office, what makes them to come together is only to pay rent. Everybody is on his own. And we cannot continue to go in that direction because there must be cooperation. So trust is a problem. The major crisis is the crisis of the integrity. And we have to look at it, especially in our country. And that is why some organizations are bringing Indians to come and be managing companies here. Why? Because of the crisis of integrity. Because we cannot cooperate with one another. Because we cannot be trusted. And the other one is ABC, what I call ABC. And that is articulated bribery and corruption. These are the things that are killing businesses. They are business killers everywhere. And we have to look at it. They are very, very key issues that we have to tackle and so on. Now look at major institutions in our country. Look at what is going on in the Senate for now. Issues of corruption every day. When are we going to be out of this? So these are issues also in businesses that actually affect the way businesses are run. So what are the great issues in collaboration? You see many collaborations in the past. We talk about Samsung and Sony. They came together to give us what we call liquid crystal display, LCD. They come together and of course they give the world very, very great. Their own, they couldn't have done it. But they come together, put resources together, put ideas together. Of course, we have LCD. And it has a lot of advantages. Coming together has a lot of advantages. One which is access to new markets and resources. Shared costs. You won't have to bear all the costs. You'll be able to share costs with the collaborators. Then access to knowledge. The knowledge that is not available to you, other people have it. Then you come together, you work on that knowledge. Then you have added product lines. Other products that will be coming up. Then robust bottom lines. You get more profit by coming together because there is power in unity. All right. So there are other downsides of it, of coming together, which is risk of losing competitive advantage. Some people, they feel that they have competitive advantage, but they feel that when they come together with other people, they'll be losing the competitive advantage. But this is not the way to go now. The way to go now is about cooperation. The cooperation is the new issue now that everybody has to look at. Then the crisis of trust also is part of the problem that we have when we are talking about coming together in cooperation to run one business or the other. That is why there is need on the long run to see that coming together outweighs the disadvantages that we may get when we don't let things to be lacking. Now, the collaborating processes. The first one is listen and explore. What can we do together? I talk about process. And one thing that is critical there is listen and explore. What can we do together? What can we do with this organization? What can I do with that organization that we can move together? Second, learn and adjust. What does that mean? How will we learn together? How can we learn together? Then the third one is focus and align. This is the time of alignment. We have to be focused and align to ensure that we do the right thing. And what does that entail? What should we do together? Then the last one here is link and leverage. What can we link together? What can we bring together to leverage on the opportunity, to leverage on the business opportunities that is out there? What will we do together? So all these are very, very important issues. Now, part of our topic today has to do with innovation. So what is the purpose of innovation? The purpose of innovation is to create business value, to create what can bring value. Value can be defined in many ways, such as incremental improvements of existing products, the creation of entirely new products and services, or reducing cost. So businesses seek to create value because their survival, growth, and ability to compete in a rapidly changing market depend on whether they innovate effectively. To that extent, we tell business today, innovate or extinct. It's either you innovate or you get out of the way. So many companies develop experimentation brands, joint ventures or co-brands. These are the things that are very, very critical now. You can't just go alone and do it now. You have to come together and do it with other people for specific advantages. And this gives them the benefit to test new ideas, to create value without the risk of damaging the already established brand. Look at Toyota's Skion brand. It's an example of an experimentation brand. Toyota's application of 4 innovation tools during the innovation process helped develop creative insights into value. And what are those tools? One, need finding. The first thing that business should be looking for now is need finding. What is the need? What is the opportunity? What is the gap in this economy? Then the second one is framing. How do we frame things? How do we bring things together? Then the third one is creative combination in such a way that things will, from one point to another, from one company to another, there'll be creative combination. People will combine to bring out creative spins into the society. And the last one here is prototyping. How do we bring the prototype? How do we bring specific products? How do we bring them to bear? And that is what actually happened in the case of Toyota's Skion. So strategic partnership agreement helps to grow business. In a strategic partnership, two business intertwined their effort in a certain area, such as marketing. Businesses can come together to have a joint marketing team, supply chain, integration, technology, finance, or a combination of this. Such an agreement might exist between a digital marketing agency and a graphic designer, like the we're going that Mr. Yahweh used the other time with bread. So you can have a digital marketing agency and, of course, a graphic designer. You can work hand in hand rather than having to do it separately. You can have a web designer and a database management firm come together. You can have an internet service provider and an email provider, just to name a few. These are the possibilities that we have today. Whether you are a startup or a growth company, there are many reasons to consider entering into strategic partnership. Strategic partnership is different from legal partnership. It's about coming together. It's about looking at the opportunities, looking at the offering, looking at the bottom line, and looking at the outcome. So at the very least, strategic partnership will add value to your product or service by expanding what you already have. A strategic partnership can be a provider match made in heaven. If two people or two parties are involved, they reciprocate, they complement each other. So now we are talking about an era of complements. Complement one another in order to achieve better outcome. So we also need to consider why you want to enter into partnership in the first place. Why do you want to enter into partnership? A strategic partnership is a mutually beneficial agreement between two separate companies that do not directly compete with one another, that do not directly compete. So you can look at other organizations that you are not competing with, that you can basically come together and forge a better alliance. Companies have long been engaging in strategic partnership in the past, but how do we do it today? How do we enhance the situation today, especially in an era of pandemic? How do we go about it and achieve a better result? So all these are very, very important. So 5 types of strategic partnership and collaboration. 1, strategic marketing partnership. Number 1, where you have logo and web designer coming together. That is called strategic marketing partnerships. The second one is strategic supply chain partnership. We are filmmakers. These people that are producing home videos, a lot of partnership enters into it, a lot of collaboration from the one that shoots, from the one that write the script, from the one that acts, and so on. So all these are strategic supply chain partnership. Another example of that one is Toyota makes engine for Lotus podcast. So these are strategic partnership that comes into it. Then strategic integration partnership, where you have Uber and Spotify partner together to create their soundtrack for your ride and so on. Then we have some of them here as well. We have Mr. Biggs having their shops at the mobile filling stations across the country and so on. Where you have Orlando, in some cases you have GTB Bank in that complex as well. And in the public sector, you have interbank settlement where all the banks and so on, they come together. Rather than have a settlement of checks all over the place, they have it in one shop and so on. Then the fourth one is strategic technology partnership, where people come together, build technology and bring them together. Then you have strategic financial partnership, where you come together to seek for very big finance to be able to fund a very big and mighty project. And also PPP also comes into it. Private partner collaboration also comes into it. So all these are very, very critical. So you have to look at the business environment. How do you navigate around this and so on? Roosevelt said that competition has been shown to be useful up to a certain point and no further. But cooperation, which is the thing we must strive for today, begins when competition leads up. End of quote. Roosevelt. So this is very, very important. So what do we do now? Build resilience in preparation for the new normal. Yes. Nothing will ever be the same now. Nothing will ever be the same. As I'm rounding up,
I sent you a mail now that I'm having this best webinar, which is on. Which is when we finish that, I will join.
Let me leave you with this.
I sent a mail. I sent a mail that I'm on this. My apologies that we joined late. We have this webinar that we have already fixed for today. Yeah, and it's going on now. Yes, for 10 o'clock. You know that's my unit.
Mrs. Bamidele, can you mute yourself, please?
So you can let the chairman know, please. Okay. Then.
It is time to build resilience. As I'm rounding up, let me leave you with this. Build resilience in preparation for the new normal. Nothing will ever be the same. I want all the businesses to understand this. Secondly, there will be no more free money. Even fraudsters, and those people that are cyber crime specialists, they will have to work very hard now because there's not going to be free money anymore. So everybody must cooperate, must come together and think of what to do. And other people should be able to see this. And also, diversification is very, very key now. Nothing will remain as it is. Seek to meet real need. That is the most important thing now. Businesses must come together, must cooperate together, and look at the gap in the economy and seek to meet it. And what are some of the businesses that you can think about now? For now, because of this situation that we have found ourselves, area of logistics, communication, and online merchandise, I'm sure we do well now. Transportation, we still do well. Tourism, ecotourism, and sustainable environment project. We do nice on PPE production and so on, we do well. Fitness trainers, instruction, and so on, we do well. Software development, we do well. Marketing, research, food sector, we do well, yes. Entertainment, gaming industry, we do well. Education business, we do well. Electrical appliances businesses for the building industry, we do well. Building materials, we do well. Fashion garment industry, we do well. Strategic sports management. I repeat, not sports management. Strategic sports management organization, we do well. Manufacturing, we do well. Agri export, we do well. And a lot of other businesses. But the most important thing is for business to come together, cooperate together, look at the gap in the economy, and strategically find a way of actually filling that gap, and sky will no longer be the limit of businesses. Thank you very much for this few time that I have to spend.
Thank you very much.
My own point of view. Thank you very much.
Mr. Johnson. Fantastic. He has even told us the businesses that will thrive, the businesses that can collaborate, and the rest of them. He said that innovation, the purpose of innovation is to create value. If your business does not create value, then it's only a matter of time. There's one book titled The Goal. The guy was going around asking people, what is the goal of a business? And unfortunately, it was difficult to find an answer. And he later gave the answer that the goal of every business is to make money, both now and in the future. Because if you make money now and you don't make money in the future, then you will close down. So it requires collaboration to happen. And then he talked about complementarity, which is the name of the game. If there is no, if nobody is complementing each other, then there will be no need for collaboration. Then he went to my field. He talked about supply chain. What we say in supply chain that if you're a manufacturer, you cannot tell your supplier to go to hell. Because if you don't take time, you will get to hell before he comes, because you need him just as much as he needs you. So it's no longer an option. It's no longer an option. And let me use this opportunity to say that BEST is coming up with more programs. I think the next time we will be talking about supply chain for small businesses. Last mile delivery is the order of the day. A lot of people are setting up logistics companies here and there. So in that very particular webinar, we'll be taking you through how you can run those things and how for all those little manufacturers, whether it is yogurt, whether it is smoothie and the rest of them. That very particular webinar, which is our next, will be very, very valuable to you. So watch out for it. I think at this point, we will have to take questions and answers. Soji, I'm sure you have seen the questions that are on the chat and the Q&A. So you want to take them by yourself or you want me to read them?
I think we had dealt with all that was on the Q&A, except any new one comes up after that. All on the Q&A were answered.
Okay, there's this one. I can't remember how, listening to you answer it. How can a young and inexperienced organization partner with an organization that has been in the game for long? I'm not sure I heard you answer this.
Okay, the answer was typed rather than voiced out.
Okay.
The truth is, while yes, there are those challenges of a startup young organization. However, if we remember, as Mr. Johnson and I have said, the key variable is what value do you bring to the table? I mean, if I have a terrible toothache and I've tried several dentists or medical drugs and it didn't work, if a small boy comes to me and says, this tablet works, and it can convince me, I'm not going to say it's a small boy. I'll first take the medicine to see if it works. So the reality is, what value do you bring to the table? Rather than be constrained by your size. And the beauty of being small is your decisions are faster, you're able to respond quicker to that big organization's requirements. So I have found in my own career, one of the fastest ways to grow is to identify the weaknesses of those big organizations, then make a proposition on how you can provide support in a collaborative way. Oh, they will listen to you because you have identified what they have been struggling to deal with anyway.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, take this question. There's a great, this is a great session, he says. Please, is there a gender and cultural perspective in collaboration? How did these factors affect collaboration? Mr. Johnson.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think there is any barrier to collaboration. Gender cannot make you not to collaborate. In fact, if indeed there is any issue about gender, it actually helps in collaboration. When a woman, of course, a very professional woman, come into the table of negotiation and so on, they will not see her femaleness. What will be seen is what she has to offer. What is the value that she's bringing to the table? In fact, as a matter of fact, the issue about gender is about blindness now. What matters now is about the fact that you have something to offer, you have value to bring. And when people see value, nobody runs away from value. Nobody runs away from what can actually benefit their bottom line. So when they see that you have something, of course, they will work with you. And of course, talking about the issue of, okay, I want to partner with a big organization, how do I go about it? I don't think there is anything like impossibility in that area. I've seen small businesses, very small business, partner with very big one, because that small one, because they have something to offer. They have, looking at them, they are very close to the grassroots, they are very close to the people and so on. And this big company, they sit down there, they cannot be able to reach those people. So they'll use that small organization to reach those people that they really want to reach and so on. So I don't see any hindrance today. I don't see hindrance. The only hindrance we have is the hindrance we impose on ourselves.
Thank you very much. Soji, do you have a perspective to this? Gender?
Well, first, that's when
perspective.
That's where network comes into play. First, I'm completely detribalized, and I don't see gender or tribe or all of those things. But networking is key. So it's important, and LCC is a network. For example, there are many people I'm meeting for the first time through this kind of program. There are many people who are possibly hearing my name for the first time ever. But then we establish a relationship from here. So when you consciously invest in the right networks, what happens is where you're unable to reach, then you can sit on the shoulders of other people who can open up those doors for you. So a business driver must consciously invest in building the right networks.
Okay. Someone says, how and who can a bookseller collaborate with, Soji?
See, again, you see, time someone says, who can I collaborate with? Let me go over again. Please pick a piece of paper, fold it into 3. Column 1, you are looking at your strengths. What are my strengths? What is of value that I have, that I'm good at? Column 2 is, what is the big idea? So for this person asking this question, column 2 is, I want to collaborate as a bookseller. Then column 3 is, so what do I need to achieve that? What do I need to achieve my big goals and my big idea? Then you begin to look for who has what I lack, who is strong where I'm weak. So if I'm a bookseller, for example, my first primary source of looking for collaboration is the people I'm even buying the books from or the books I'm selling. Because if, for example, I'm needing to pay before I take their books, if I can collaborate and show my reach and say, look, I collect it on credit and pay you when I sell, that is collaboration. I'm opening up bigger access for them than they would have gotten. And if I can demonstrate that I'm a member of LCCI, I'm a member of AOPM, and I can show them the reach of those markets, they will give me on credit as it is. So that's one way to collaborate, for example.
That is very, very apt because, for example, Soji has the bunker, which is a co-work space. So to display and maybe provide him something can also give you an opportunity. Someone says collaboration with banks, with our banks in terms of financing is like poison chalice. How can a business make it worthwhile? Mr. Johnson, let me start with you.
All right.
Financing, I've been looking at it from the point of that is also a form of collaboration.
Okay, yes, before I answer that, let me say that with respect to the guy that has book, I want to collaborate. Yes. The first place to go is supermarkets and eateries all over the place. If you can have an arrangement with them, cooperative arrangement, where you can just have your table, put your books there and so on, you are good to go. Then of course, people that are speaking engagements all over the place, you can collaborate with them. As soon as they finish speaking, your books can be out on the table and so on, then you continue to sell. Now concerning the bank, I want to say that despite the fact that people are saying that it is difficult to relate with banks and so on, when banks see a good project on the table, they can't dodge it. Nobody can dodge a good project. Once they see a good project, in fact, they'll be the one to be calling you. The most important thing is for you to have a very, very solid business plan. very solid. Once it is solid, when they see it, they see future in it. What they are looking for is future. Future is profit. When they see it and so on, from there they will basically contact you. You will have a business to run with any bank, whatever bank that what its name. We want to run a business with people who has future and so on. All right.
You are muted, sir.
Sorry, I want my president to give a perspective, being one of the biggest and strongest consultant for SMEs. What do you think about this very particular issue raised here? Because that seems to be what everybody have on their lips. Even people who don't know what to do with the money when they get it, everybody is blaming the bank. My president.
Dr. Madu, the thing about finance has a lot of nooks and corners and crannies. If you don't mind, I actually want to comment on two major things that have come out of the participants' comments and questions. And one has to do with a very, very big part of doing business long term. And that is due to our circumstance and our recent political and social history. People fail to understand the value of integrity in business. Integrity and trust is what drives business. And I'm seeing questions here that show that people don't understand the role that integrity and value play in business transactions. So I want to say that it's important for you to build a reputation, build a brand, and make sure your reputation is strong. Soji has spoken to it. Mr. Johnson has spoken to it. You align yourself with very networks. And Soji used the example of the Lagos Chamber, for example. This wanting to take short corners, deliver short, break prices, deliver poorer quality because you're trying to make more money. All these things look as if they pay you in the short term, but in the long term, it makes your business, and it damages your ability to find good and worthy partners. So I wanted to draw attention to that and show a spotlight on that issue of business and integrity. The other thing was there were questions around how do I even know a good partner when I see one? And to me, it's almost like, how do I even know a good employee when I see one? If you've been in business, there are referrals, you have served customers, you have provided goods to people, you've provided services to people, you should be able to say to a worthy partner, here are some of the people who would give testimonials on what I've done so far. So please build your brand, become trustworthy, have integrity so that you can deal in this collaborative collaboration we speak of. Dr. Madu, could you hear me at all?
Very well, very well,
Okay,
very well.
You look like you couldn't hear me. All right.
Very well. The finance side.
The finance side, there are two sides to finance. To my mind, there are two sides to finance. One, there is the part where I don't think that as people in this working in this ecosystem, we have understood enough the character of SMEs. Two, there's the fact that SMEs themselves are not quite prepared to take on funding. On the bank side, there's the fact that there is not enough competence on the side of banks to deal with SMEs. They're used to dealing with large corporates. They've been used so far to making money from oil. In fact, to my mind, COVID-19 and the fall in oil prices is the best thing that could have happened to the non-oil sector of Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned, no matter which sector you look at. So we need to build competence on the side of finance to understand how to finance SMEs. It's not the way you would finance a Nestle or finance a Coca-Cola or finance an MTN. You know, so we need to get down on that. And I think what is missing, the missing middle, to join the two together, are people like yourself, myself, and Soji, the business development people who hold the hands of the SMEs and make that linkage to finance and help them through that process of being able to implement their business plans according to the financing that they have taken. Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks, Madam President. So you've had it, and banks are in the business of lending. If a bank does not lend, then I don't know what banking is all about. So to say that a bank has refused to give money is not correct. I think most of the time, those who want to borrow are not prepared. And that's basically the summary of what the president has said. So let us go back and do our homework, and I am sure we will be able to get funding. I want to allow Soji and Mr. Johnson, like two minutes kind of summary before I hand over to the anchor. Just your final message to the people on what to do and how to go about collaborating. Soji?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for this additional opportunity. We'll just go over again very quickly the 3 columns, because there's several questions on these 3 columns. Now, the first column is you have to identify your strength. There's a lot of how do I collaborate, how do I collaborate? You can't collaborate if you have not identified what are your strengths as a business. What significant value do you need to give to the other party? Collaboration from the word is you collaborate, both parties benefit. Right. So you first identify that. Secondly, be clear on your goals. Why do you even want to collaborate in the first place? Is it to get wider market reach? Is it to reduce costs? Is it to get the skills that the other party has that you don't have? And the second column is what do you really want to achieve? Be very clear, not haphazardly. What exactly is the objective that you want to achieve? And how would you know that you have achieved that objective clearly? And the third column is, so what do you lack that the other party has? So you are going to them with your own strength and what you can give to them in exchange for what they have. So for example, seeking finance from a bank, in my view, is not collaboration. A bank is not going to collaborate with you because you want to borrow money. But the bank will collaborate with you, and they have many agents for financial institutions. If you can help the bank access many people that can borrow creditably, for example, SCCI can enter into collaboration with a bank because they would have done the pre-qualification of the SMEs that qualify for that access. The SCCI is the one collaborating with the financial institution, not the bank directly. And I gave an example earlier of how a bank like GTB collaborates with the fashion industry. That's a collaboration and both parties benefit. So you must be clear as to your strength and enter into those discussions. And size does not matter. Please build a good network. Build a good network. And in building a good network, the mistake a lot of people also do is, and some of it may come out of this session, you begin to engage the panelists. Please, I want to speak to you. Please, I want this from you. Nobody connects with you that way. What you want to do first is, if you are chatting me up, be telling me what you value, you want to add to my business. It is in you adding value to my business that I'll be interested in also adding to your business. Not engaging me and chatting me up that you want this from me, you want that. You have to be ready to give first. If you have no value to put on the table, nobody will collaborate with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Soji. Mr. Johnson, your
Yes,
summary.
very well. The first thing I would like to say here in summary is the issue of integrity. This cannot be emphasized too emphatically. In business, it is very, very key. What is killing our country is crisis of integrity. So we have to look into that. Everybody that is into business, we have to stand out from the crowd now. And when everybody is standing now, we have to stand tall. And when everybody is standing tall, we have to stand high to embrace integrity. Now, the way to go, build new customers. I want to advise our viewers, build new customers. 2, embrace new channels of sales. The one that you have yesterday cannot take you tomorrow. Then find new needs within this economy. Look at the gaps in this. There are a lot of gaps now in this economy. Look for them and find one and enter into it. Then focus on growth and innovation. Innovation, innovation. Without innovation, we are nowhere. It is either you innovate or you go out of business. Then under deliver, over deliver and undercharge for now. Over deliver, whatever you are offering, over deliver it and undercharge for now. Make your KPI, key performance indices, KRA, key result area in line with your customers' need. Then build agility, Businesses will face a lot of stress at this time. You have to build agility, build relevance. Let your business be relevant. Let it be something that people desire. Let it be something that people need. Then prioritize people. People are the most important component of business. Be visible. Don't go and hide somewhere at the back of the corner. Be visible. Find your way to the social media. Consider artificial intelligence. Consider robotics. Consider social media. And it's very, very key. The question to ask is, where are my weaknesses? What are my weaknesses? 2, where did we make costly decisions and why? The last one, what would have helped my business to do better? Thank you very much. That is my submission.
Okay, I'll leave you with a few words before I round up. Everyone has talked about value. So what is value? In supply chain, we say that value is what the customer says it is, even if he keeps changing his mind. So when we talk about creating value, having something to bring on the table, it also has a lot to do with how strong the voice of the customer is in your organization. This can be spotted in practically everything that has been said here. Mr. Johnson also said something, that what brought you here cannot take you there. So innovation is key. Then I read one author who said that you should collaborate with the enemy if it will make you to succeed. In those days, if you work in Lever Brothers, if you mention Procter & Gamble, they'll probably fire you. That's how the antagonism was. But today, both organizations are collaborating in several ways. So collaboration is no longer an option, particularly under the times that we're in. Participants, I hope you have gotten value. And like I said, please watch out for other series that will involve more teaching this time around. So watch out for the series. At this point, I want to thank you, Madam President, and my chair on the board of BEST. Thank you for the opportunity, and also together, I'm sure we can do quite a lot. So I want to hand over to the anchor. I hope he's still around.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Obiora Amadu, we appreciate your interventions and the coordination throughout the period of the webinar. We would like to advise that we all have our faces, especially the panelists, the moderator, and Madam President. Please, let's have our camera switched on so that we can have a snapshot or screenshot of our faces. So the panelists, the moderator, Madam President, let's see your faces, and the chairperson of the BEST board. So at this point, without much ado, without wasting your time, I would like to invite the chairperson of the BEST board in the person of Mrs.
Your face has to be there now. He has announced that our face should be there.
Sorry for the mix-up. The chairperson of the BEST board in the person of Mrs. Yemisi Daramola, FCA, to give the closing remarks and move the vote of thanks. Madam Chairperson, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Alade. My president and the moderator and the fellow discussants, I think we've had about 1.5 hours of very educative and fulfilling qualitative discussion on how to move our businesses forward. We cannot but thank Messrs. Olusoji Oyawoye and Olufemi Johnson for the paper they presented, which was very qualitative and very educative and knowledgeable. And definitely, I'm sure the participants will have gained a lot on how to renew their business skills and revive their business activities for greater results and achievements. I was trying to have a rethink of a summary of what we have learned, which said we need to have good integrity. Definitely, we all need this integrity. The integrity issue is, we all know, is affecting the economy of the nation. And maybe if we can start as individuals to display that honest integrity, it will multiply and have a positive effect on our national economy. And we have also been told that we should find a way to embrace new channels of sales. And if you have new channels of sales, that will grow your businesses. We have also been told that we should focus on growth and innovations, which means we should no longer be rigid. We should no longer be stagnant. We have to reach out. We have to collaborate. We have to learn to share ideas and knowledge. I'm sure the participants will definitely have been satisfied with the paper deliveries, because definitely I also learned from it, though I came in late because I was busy on another business Zoom meeting. But by the time I joined, I was just like, oh my God, thank you, Dr. Madu, committee, for putting up this presentation. And I'm sure, like he said, we are having more to offer on the educative side, which will be more challenging and fruitful in future. Invariably, what we are saying is that the best unit, in line with the COVID-19, has now resurfaced on a new ground. We are having more quality paper deliveries, more challenging topics to discuss and to learn from. And we are also collaborating with our members on areas to assist them to grow their businesses, because that's the essence of the networking coming together at LCCI. And we hope that with this, some of the participants will see the need to join the chambers of commerce, because now we have put on a new cap, we have put on a new ideas, and we are saying our results will tell for us, and will sell us, and sky is our limit, and we will definitely get there. On behalf of the chairman and my president and the members of the board of BEST, I want to say a big thank you to all the paper presenters, the moderators, the participants, and Dr. Alabi for packaging this program together. And I wish all of us the best of the day, because the business for the day have just started. And I hope you will also participate when we call you for other activities in the nearest future. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson, for the vote of thanks and the presentation. And we would like to use this medium to advise all participants that if you do not have a very, very urgent business doing out there, please remain indoors. Lagos is on lockdown. Avoid being held up in traffic. Thank you very much. We appreciate everyone. And on that note, we have come to the end of this webinar. Thank you very much for participating. And God bless you.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Madam
Thank you,
Chair,
thank you.
very much.
Thank you, Madam President. We appreciate you
Thank you,
for your
speakers.
support all the time.
You're welcome.
Dr. Madu, well done, oh, my brother.
Thank you.
Dr. Madu, well done.
Thank you,
I appreciate you.
Thank you, my chair.
Thank you.
And that's affects dollar rate. So usually when it happens like that, it will affect I mean, more places would have been affected.